Lennon has a smile that could light up a room, but it's her heart that could change the world. Lennon saw her grandfather in tears after George Floyd's death.
It made me feel heartbroken and very, very upset because I heard him say, I just don't want the world to be like this anymore.
She was moved to act. She wanted to march to show Black Lives Matter.
I don't want my mothers to feel scared to let their child out and be to whoever they want to be.
Her mom, Danielle Lennon, said they could have their own march around their neighborhood. They thought they'd be alone. Instead, they had a small army.
I thought there was going to be about 5 or 3 people wanting to join, but instead 15.
It was something out of a movie, like a slow clap, and people were saying, well, we want to walk. Can we meet you on the driveway? And we can't, walk, but we want to just stand outside. Some people just stood along our path.
Jasmine's story now being shared across the country.
Steve-O from MTV to share it. One of the #1 MMA fighters share it. And Shaq apparently saw it. Snoop Dogg apparently saw it. And Minted Cosmetics, they did reach out to me to ask about putting them on there. It's a very popular African-American chain. They reached out to me about putting her on their social media.
Perhaps this world needs a voice like Jasmine's to find the answers it's looking for.
I want to see the world being what it was made to be, not what it is right now.
Well, welcome everybody. Today on Real Raw Conversations, we have a very special guest. Her name is Jasmine Lennon, and she's waving, yeah. And Jasmine has received national media coverage over some really amazing things she has been doing in her city, and have really touched a lot of people all over our country. So we're going to get to know Jasmine today, and we're going to hear about the amazing things that she's been up to. So, Jasmine, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me, and I'm just so glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You are just the sweetest. So tell us about you, Jasmine. How old are you?
I am 8 years old, and I lived in this house for 8 years, and I like to play with dolls and American Girl, and also that I am in 3rd grade and about to be in 4th grade next year.
Wow. Well, my daughter and you would simply have a blast together because she loves to play with American dolls as well. And I think we're going to have to arrange a play date when you come back to Charleston to hang out. So, so what's your favorite subject in school? Tell us about school a little bit.
Well, my favorite subject is science because that's when you get to discover things and where you could discover the answers, and it's really interesting.
Oh man, that's awesome. I really like science too. It's very interesting, isn't it, when you start discovering all the different species and everything that kind of goes with what science entails. That's awesome. Well, we're going to shift gears to a little bit more of a heavy subject now, because I want us to get to kind of this huge thing you've done for our country and why it reached national media. And so I want to talk about George Floyd now. And as you know, George Floyd several weeks back was brutally murdered. And I know that you heard about that when it happened, and I just want to know how did it make you feel when George Floyd was murdered?
It made me feel angry, upset, and not really like myself.
Yeah. And how did seeing your family's reactions make you feel?
It made me feel also heartbroken because first George Floyd and then my parents are also upset about it. So those were one of the reasons.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was crying
Yeah, and I was actually talking to your grandfather about that, and he said it was so touching, um, that the reason that you took the action that you took was one of the reasons was that you saw him cry, and I can't imagine how hard that was to see your grandfather cry over this horrible act of violence. Um, so, what action steps did you take as a result of his death? Because you didn't merely just see something happen. You said, "Hey, I'm going to do something." What was it that you'd said, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and go do"?
So I went along and demonstrated because I asked my mother I asked my mother if I could do it, but she said at first she said, maybe tomorrow or maybe later. That's when I wanted instead. I kept on bugging her until she, until she until she agreed. So technically we came to an agreement where just me and her and G Mama and G Papa would do a little demonstration. So
Yeah. And so, what happened after you did this little demonstration? Because it kind of exploded into something bigger than you, didn't it?
so none of the so as you may have heard, more than me and my grandparents joined because technically my mom wanted to put it on Instagram because we didn't want to look weird, so she sent it on Instagram, and then people started saying, "Well, I want to join. Well, I want to join. I want to support her. I want
Yeah.
to join." And
Yeah.
it turned out 15 people.
Wow. Wow. And then did it grow from there or?
Well, we made a woman stop jogging, and she was I heard that she was thinking about joining us, and she joined it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So people just quite literally saw this little girl who said, "Hey, I'm gonna do something about this. I'm going to peacefully protest and say that enough of this is enough. This is enough, and we need to do something." And you decided to do something, and I think that you are just a hero. And I think that you have just done an amazing work for our country, and I think that you're a hero. You're really a hero, and I'm really honored to be talking with you today. So, what did you hope would be accomplished as a result of your peaceful protesting?
I want to accomplish black people and white people coming together
Yeah,
to fight what's the word again? To fight racism.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so great. That's so great. And so there were all kinds of mixed, different kinds of people. There were white and black, and I'm sure some other races in your protest, correct?
Yes.
So really, you got to accomplish what you set out to accomplish just by putting together that protest and getting some people from different backgrounds together to say, hey, we want to be a part of the solution. We want to peacefully protest, and we want to see an end to this racism in America and in the world. And so I think that's really cool that you accomplished your goal right there. But it's so much bigger than you now because you've been on all these national media stations, and you've gained that national media attention, and the world is listening to you, Jasmine Lennon, and they are seeing the fact that if this young 8-year-old girl can organize a peaceful protest and get black people and white people together to march for a solution, to march for the end of racism and racial reconciliation to be had. I mean, it just is amazing, and I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness right now. Just for you to do this. I'm just when your G-pop told me about this, I just my jaw dropped. I'm just so floored at the fact that I think that some of us, as we get older, as we become adults, we lose what you have inside of you. So you have something inside of you that says, "Hey, I can change the world." Like I can change the world. I can be the change I want to see in the world, and it just takes, seemingly small things that are really big things. And I think that we as a nation, as adults, need to get back to the idea that we can be the change we want to see in the world. It doesn't have to be huge, and it could start out, kind of small like yours and turn into something amazing. And so I wish that every adult could get that essence that you have inside of you that says, "Hey, I can do something. I can be the change I want to see in the world. I can help see blacks and whites come together and find a solution and find racial reconciliation." And I'm just floored at just this amazing movement you've started. So, if you could have one wish granted, what would it be?
It would be to see Michelle Obama because she is one of my most favorite celebrities to look
Yeah,
up to, and I don't want to leave out Mr. Obama because he's a good guy too.
yeah.
So
They are definitely a power couple, and they've done a lot for our nation. So, have you faced struggles because of the color of your skin? And if so, I would love for you to share about that because we've been doing this line of conversations over the last few weeks, and we've been interviewing some African American people. But I think it's really important to ask the same question to an 8-year-old because I want to hear from you about that. So, have you faced struggles because of the color of your skin? And if so, we'd love to hear about that.
well, I actually joined a brownie company,
Hmm.
and the girls there they didn't really want to play with me because of the color of my skin. So
Hmm.
they told they they told me that.
Wow. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel upset and very sad.
Yeah, yeah, I can't imagine. Oh, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. And unfortunately, you know, there are some people in this world that are being raised completely the backwards way. And I think that's a great time to tell our viewers and for me to remember that we as parents have to go first to talk to our kids about racial equality, racial diversity, and the fact that um, we need to encourage our kids to have um, friends that don't look like them, right? Wouldn't you say that we need people in this world to be raising their kids and for to love people of different colors, but to do that, we've got to love people of different colors. And we've got to form those relationships with black families, and so we can have play dates with their kids, and so that we can be the change that we want to see. It starts with parents, and for our lack of saying anything is really us saying something. It's saying that let the world tell you what to do, and the world will tell you the wrong thing to do almost every time. So I'm really sorry to hear that you struggle with that, and I would love if you guys ever come back to Charleston on a vacation. I would love to get together and get you and my daughter together. I think you guys would play so well together because, like I said, she loves American Doll and all that stuff. And so, what are some practical ways that I, as a white man, can be a proponent of change in my environments?
Well, you could do a demonstration just like I did,
Yeah.
or pick up litter, or sing beside a store, or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, those are great. Those are great. Um, oh man, well, you are just a beacon of hope in all of this darkness in our world right now. You give me so much hope, and I know you're going to give our viewers so much hope, and you've been giving so many people across the nation so much hope. And I just want you to know that God has got a special plan for you, a special purpose for you. He is going to do amazing things through you, and you could be the next president. You could be the next, I mean, there are so many things that you could do, and I see so much of that in you. I see so much um, just specialness in you. And so I'm just really excited that we got to carry on your story to our viewers at the Hope Project. And I know it's going to bless a lot of people. And I'm just super thankful for you. You are a world changer. You are an overcomer. And you're special. You're special, Jasmine Lennon. And we are super thankful for you that you decided to do this interview. Is there anything else you want to tell our viewers?
I want to tell everyone that is watching right now is that if you are one of the ones that are doing something bad, and if you're watching this, I'm gonna give you some tips to change all that.
Okay.
So like I said before, you could do anything like sing beside a store like Target. I actually saw a woman once at a Target. She was singing, raising up her fist and singing a song.
Wow.
That was just really touching, and I would really want to, if I were to see her right now, I want to congratulate her.
Wow. Wow. What else? I love the idea of singing. Singing brings people together. And so I think that's a great idea.
And also to have white friends and black friends come together and and like, it doesn't matter what color we are. It only matters what kind of personality they have.
Yeah, that's right. That's so good. Like Dr. King said, and I'll paraphrase here that, we love people based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And I think that will resonate with me for the rest of my life. That's one of my favorite things. When I was your age, growing up in school, I was a big fan of Dr. Martin Luther King and just the impact that he had on our nation. And that's what I hear you saying right there is we've got to love people based on the content of their character.
Go ahead, tell.
Okay, so I actually have one more tiny detail.
Okay, great.
So you may have as well heard as back then they had a thing called Jim Crow, and it's where black people were separated from white people.
Right.
Think of it as this: the wall is blocking white people from black people, and they can't get over the wall to connect with each other. So that the wall stands for Jim Crow. The Jim Crow thing is blocking white people and black people to come together.
Yeah, that is so good. That is so good. And we've got to abolish that. We've got to get rid of that and be over that wall. Because I think some of us still have that invisible wall now built up inside, and we've got to be a proponent. It's going to take some of us getting uncomfortable and really going out and looking for those relationships of people that of different colors. But for us to be the change we want to see in the world, it's going to take some uncomfortability. And one thing that I know is some of my best next steps are right around the corner from the most uncomfortable things that I've ever had to do. And so, I would challenge anyone that's watching, listen to Jasmine, go out and find someone that doesn't look like you and befriend them and get to know them and find out about what it was like growing up and, the struggles they faced. And I think that, we've talked about this over the past few weeks, but some of the biggest barriers to racism are fear and ignorance. And I'm not saying ignorance that you're not smart. I'm saying ignorance that you just don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And maybe you weren't raised around people that look differently. And it's going to take some work. It's going to take you getting out of your comfort zone of your just white friends, or maybe your just Latino friends, and going out and searching out somebody, maybe at the ballpark or at the gym, or somebody, maybe at church that doesn't look like you, and saying, hey, I want to get to know you. Can I take you out for coffee? Can I take you out for dinner? Can I do something nice for you? And just because I want to get to know you, and you don't have to. It doesn't have to be an agenda, because I think agendas can be bad, but I think we have to get out of our comfort zone, and the agenda has to be racial reconciliation. And so, but in doing that, you got to go out and you got to find people that look different, and it's going to take all of us. It's not just going to be one or two people, but luckily we have these powerhouse people like you that are like, hey, I'm going to go out and do something more than the regular person, than the average person. I'm going to go out and do something that people are going to maybe be reading about in history books someday, and that right there, don't ever lose that, Jasmine. Continue to do those things that nobody else is doing, because that is how you make history. That's how you make change. That's how you see people liberated and freed, and those little things. And don't ever stop dreaming, because I feel like what you did here was you being an 8-year-old girl that was dreaming about a different world, and you said, here's what I can do to help that dream come into fruition. And I think too often as we get older, we lose those dreams, because the world starts letting us down a little bit. But man, don't ever forget how good it was to do this amazing good thing that you did. Does that make sense?
It does, and I have two more details.
Great. We've got 10,
So
20 more minutes.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So the first one is that I want everybody that is watching right now to be courageous.
Yeah.
So that way that gives them hope and strength to do something like I did. And I actually have a white friend across the street.
Yeah.
And she's my neighbor, and I'm a friend of her, and she is white, and she's pretty nice. So I just want the world to be something like that.
Yeah.
Like my friend are.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how long have you known her for?
First grade. I know her since first grade and second grade.
Yeah. That's so amazing. And when you made her as a friend, you just saw a person, right? You didn't see a color. You weren't going out just to find you a white friend, or just like we could go out and just to find us a black friend. You just saw a person. And I think that's where it's going to come from, is, like I said, not having this agenda to go out and make a black friend, but really transforming our minds to say, I'm going to go out and make some friends that just don't look like me, that are just look differently, just because I need to grow. And not really having an agenda, but just saying, I've got to broaden the spectrum of friends I have in my life. And here's the thing, if you're not, you're missing out. There are so many great things from each culture that you can learn from, that you can grow with, that you can, find empathy with. And so, that's what that teaches me, is you having that young white friend, is, racism really is taught. We've got to be careful about the way we talk around our kids. The little things that we think we're saying that may be a little racist are really big things to them, because they are listening to every word we say. And I guarantee you, those kids, that you said it was with the brownies that didn't like you because of your color. I guarantee you their parents weren't raising them to say, we want you to be a racist. They were hearing the small nuances in their conversations about, a racial slur here and a racial slur there. So if not for yourself, you've really got to do it for your kids, to just be careful about how you talk about other people around them, because you will wreck their future for them. Because I'm telling you, this world is moving towards racial reconciliation, whether you like it or not. That's where we're going. And so do your kids a favor and let them get a fighting chance to really see people the way God sees them, right? God sees color, but he sees beautiful colors, right? Just like he says in the song, red and yellow, black and white, they are all precious in his sight. I don't know if they sing that anymore, but that was one of my favorite ones growing up. So anything else? Because I feel like we've had a lot more anything else's because you keep thinking about stuff, and I love it. I love it. So this time is yours, Jasmine. So feel free to tell me anything else. You've really shared so many good things today, and I think that a lot of people are going to be blessed by this conversation.
No, thanks. That is all, and I just really thank you for having me for the interview, and I hope I'll see. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to meet your daughter and to do this with you again.
Yes, that would be great. And I'm serious. The next time y'all are in Charleston, we can all go have breakfast. Skylar would love to meet you and show you her little dowel set, and we would really love to arrange that. And I want to meet your G-Pop in person because he's a great guy too. I'm sure you got a great rest of your family I'd like to meet, but you guys have been such a blessing over these last couple of weeks for just coming on and being real, raw, and just real. And this is what the world needs, is people that are willing to speak out and go first when it comes to racial reconciliation. So thank you again so much for being my special guest. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been Real Raw Conversations, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Rio.